Personal protective equipment. What does PPE means? PPE are the equipments and clothing worn held by a person at work, which affords protection against one or more risks to health or safety. The personal protective equipment is one of the control options available for controlling hazards in the workplace and not substitutes for effective engineering controls safety work conditions or sound work practices, but can play an essential part in the protection of the worker. Its use does neither eliminate the hazard nor does it prevent incidents, but helps to reduce the impact or adverse health effects, if used correctly. This is your last line of defense. Types of PPE. Example are safety glass goggles, safety shoes, earplug or earmuff, respirator, coveralls, gloves, air-supplied helmet. Management responsibility is responsible for the provision of suitable types and quantity of PPE and ensures proper use in line with the project PPE requirements. Additional PPE for more hazardous tasks shall also be provided when required. Is responsible and shall be held accountable for an effective use of the PPE provided for workers under HIS control. He must set an example by using HIS PPE as appropriate and ensure its use by others as required. The responsibility are planning, organizing, controlling, leading, sustainability, responsibility, and ethics. Employee's responsibility. As an employee, you have a duty of care responsibility for safety and health at the workplace. Report any hazards, injuries, or ill health to your supervisor or employer, and cooperate with your employer when they require something to be done for safety and health at the workplace. Wear PPE at all times. Inspect your PPE always to ensure they are serviceable for job purpose required. Request replacement for damaged PPE. Ask question if you don't know the specific PPE for the job to be performed. Maintaining the cleanliness and effectiveness of the PPE. Training. Employees must be given adequate, comprehensive instruction, information, and training. 1. The purpose for which PPE has been provided. 2. The risks that it will protect against. 3. The correct method of use. 4. The employee's part is ensuring that PPE remains properly working and in good condition. Suitability. To be suitable, PPE must be appropriate for the risk involved and the conditions at the place where exposure may arise. Take ergonomic consideration into account and be capable of being fitted and used by the worker. Conform to OSHA BS, DIN, as or ANSI standard or approved by the client is as fit for purpose and comfortable. So far as practicable, prevent or adequately control the risk of exposure without creating another risk. Where more than one PPE has to be used simultaneously, each must be compatible with one another and full effectiveness must be maintained. Hazard identification. Hazard identification is part of the process used to evaluate if any particular situation, items, thing, act, may have potential to cause harm. Direct, projectile, sharp, or abrasive objects. Chemical, irritation, carcinogenic, poisonous, and sensitizer. Biological, bacteria, parasites, and fungus. Physical, noise, radiation, heat, cold, vibration, electricity, and light. Effective exposures. Exposure to chemical commonly used in workplace can lead to a variety of short and long-term health effects such as poisoning, skin rashes, and disorders of the lung, kidney, and liver. Physical injury. Poisoning. Asphyxiation. Cancer. Irritation. Infection. Loss of hearing. dermatitis, burns, abrasion. Hazard assessment. Here is the simple of hazard type and common related tasks. Impact. Flying objects such as large chips, fragments, particles, sand and dirt. Chipping, grinding, machining, masonry work, woodworking, sawing, drilling, riveting, sanding, etc. Heat. Anything emitting extreme heat. Furnace operations, pouring, casting, hot dipping, welding, etc. Chemicals. Splash, fumes, vapors, and irritating mists. Acid and chemical handling, degreasing, plating, and working with blood. Dust. Harmful dust. Woodworking, buffing, and general dusty conditions. Radiation. Radiant energy, glare and intense light optical. Welding, torch cutting, brassing, soldering, and laser work. How to determine the proper PPE for you. All personal protective equipment should be safely designed and constructed and should be maintained in a clean and reliable fashion. Selection, fitting, health aspect, compatibility, issue records, proper use, training and use. Cleaning, service storage, supervision, disposal. Head protection. To protect the wearer against head injuries caused by falling objects, blows, or other impacts. The helmet gives some protection against splashing by liquids. It should be manufactured from plastics. Helmets are required to be replaced if subjected to severe impact. The use of paint aerosol type and certain adhesive stickers may affect the integrity of the helmet and should not be allowed. Types of head protection. Metal safety helmets shall not be worn. Air-supplied helmets should be worn when working with chemical sprays or grit blasting. Welding helmets caps, which give protection against dangerous arc radiation and hot particles of weld metal, shall be worn when engaged in welding operations. Types of head protection. Eye and face protection. Eyes require to be protected against injury from wind-blown debris and from impact against various fixtures, fittings, or loose items which the wearer may inadvertently knock into by nature of working in close confines of plant or equipment. Eye protection shall be worn in specific areas or for specific activities in all indoor and outdoor operational sites. Welding operations require special eye, face, and neck protection for the operator. Eye protection. Certain operations are significantly more hazardous to the eyes, and the eye protection selected must be suitable against particular hazard in question. For operations including grinding, scraping, chipping, etc., the handling of chemicals and solvents, sample taking, etc., advice should be sought from this section. Full view goggles. Face shields may be required, and they should be suitable for dust or chemical protection. Check your safety glass goggles. Are the glasses goggles offer protection against specific exposure? Do they distort vision? Do they limit peripheral side vision? Are there gaps between side shields and face which might allow particles to enter eyes? Foot protection. Safety footwear protects against hazards ranging from dermatitis to crushing injuries. Within this broad range of hazards, consideration needs to be given to the possibility of contact with chemicals, extremes of heat, slippery surfaces, punctures from nails or other sharp objects, and electrical hazards, both live and static. All personnel working in or visiting potentially hazardous areas such as construction sites, workshops, process areas, etc., must wear safety footwear at all times while in the area. Check your safety footwear. Does the footwear offer protection against specific occupation exposure, such as temperature variation, slippery surfaces, punctures, chemical exposure, direct impact on the toe? Hand protection. Gloves should only be used to protect against minimal risks to health and safety, resist cuts and abrasions, repel some liquids, and offer a good grip. Care should be taken in the donning, use, removal, and storage of protective gloves. They should be maintained in good condition, checked regularly and discarded if worn and deteriorated. Gloves should be cleaned if applicable according to manufacturer's instructions. Repeated washing may remove fungal and bacterial inhibitors from the lining of the glove, possibly leading to skin irritation. Types of hand gloves. Hand protection. Hearing protection. Hearing conversation programs should be established in all locations where employees are exposed to noise levels above 85 dBA for 8 hours. It is necessary to take special precautions to prevent damage to hearing by excessive or prolonged noise. Wear hearing protection in all areas where noise levels exceed 85 dBA for an 8-hour shift shall be designated as hearing protection areas. No exposure to continuous or intermittent noise levels in excess of 115 dBA is allowed. Types of hearing protection. Body protection. Coveralls give protection to the wearer against general dirt. The garments shall be manufactured from approved materials. The coveralls should be of color that is easily seen, namely orange, yellow, or red offshore. These garments give protection against wind, rain, and some protection against splashing from liquids. If dark color material is used, a light reflective strip should be incorporated across the shoulders of the garment. Body protection. Coveralls that offer a degree of protection in fire shall be used if the wearer is exposed to welding or cutting activities. For chemical handling, protective clothing, personnel handling bulk chemicals may require whole body protection against splashing. If necessary, they shall wear impervious suits or aprons. Fall protection. Use equipment to reduce personal injury when crew may be exposed to 1. A fall of 1.8 meters. 2. Work over the side. 3. Work on a vent stack. 4. Work in enclosed areas of oxygen deficiency contamination. The equipment consist of full body harness, shock absorbing lanyard or the approved equipment, connecting hook. The label should indicate the year and standard of manufacturer. A BC of fall protection are A. for anchorage, B. for body harness, and C. for connecting device. Personal fall arrest system. Full body harness with lanyard used during works performed on an unprotected work location at elevations higher than 1.8 meters above the ground. Lanyard must be secured to a suitable anchorage point that is capable of supporting an impact load of 2,500 kilograms prior to use. Make sure that fall protection equipment is in good operating condition. That's all. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.